top 5 pass rush. They have a solid defense that goes out on the field. Yeah, they're not a good football team overall.
Ryan Kerrigan is so underrated.
Ryan Kerrigan, but I mean, you got Chase Young out there.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys can play football. I mean,
100%.
they're getting after the quarterback. They're stopping the run, unless they play the Giants, because the Giants run the football all over them. But even then, they're not allowing a lot of yards in the passing game either. Their defense is solid. Alex Smith has looked good lately. The Washington's run game has started to pick back up again. Antonio Gibson is playing well. Yeah. McLaurin is a questionable tag this week, though.
Yeah.
I know we didn't have him on our injury report, but McLaurin just came up with a questionable tag today. We don't know what's happening there. He might play, might not. So if they lose McLaurin, he is their number one guy.
Yeah. Then you got to pick up Steven Sims.
Yeah, you got to pick up Sims, but because Dallas's defense has allowed receivers a lot of points too.
Yeah.
So this game, I like Washington. I do. I like Washington's defense. I think the Cowboys are still a mess right now.
100%.
I mean, they got momentum. They just beat the Minnesota Vikings.
How?
They have. I don't know how they have it. But they have a momentum. I just don't think the Red Rocket is coming through for him in this game. I think they're going to get to him because the Dallas's offensive line has not been good this year as it normally is. Yeah. They weren't running the football until last week was the first time Zeke finally got going. I just don't see that trend. I mean, my opinion, I don't see the trend keeping it going. I think Washington actually takes this game.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I see it a low-scoring game, like a 21-17. But I do think I'm certainly in agreement with you as far as Washington. Not only do I think they get to the Red Rocket himself, Andy Dalton, but I do see Andy Dalton actually getting injured.
Again?
And, yeah. Believe it or not, in this game, I just think that
honestly, I think that would give the favor to Dallas because that guy that came in for them from the XFL,
Danucci or something.
No, Danucci's the one that sucked.
Was it Cooper Rush?
I don't even know the guy's name, whatever. But he played much better. I mean, they lost that game.
Yeah,
but that dude, he was scoring points for him, and he was making plays, the long plays on the field, and they were getting creative with that guy.
Yeah,
I'm surprised that when Andy Dalton came back, that they went to him with how much he struggled. I mean, he won the game for him though, so I guess. Can't be too bad.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as far as Terry McLaurin goes, I get that he's got the questionable tag, but this is a Dallas defense who ranks second worst in the league to fantasy wide receivers. I'm going to astonish you that they're giving up 25.8 points to number one wideouts against them. They've allowed 19 touchdowns receiving to wide receivers this year. So regardless, if McLaurin goes, obviously he's a must start. He's actually number 6 for me in my rankings this week. I think he's going to get, it's probably a lower projection, but 6 catches, 75 yards, maybe a touchdown, but definitely over 16 fantasy points. Got him ahead of Stephon Diggs. So I like it. I like the matchup a lot. I mean, Alex Smith has been throwing the ball extremely well as well. Over 300 yards these last couple of games. I will say this, if you're a J.D. McKissick owner, you're going to hear me talk about J.D. a little later in the show. Not sure you play J.D. against this Dallas team. The one good thing that this team does, they only give up 3.5 receptions to opposing running backs. And they've yet to give up a touchdown to opposing running backs catching the ball. So I agree with you. I think it's Antonio Gibson all day long. I just don't see where the value is this week for JD, which is why I dropped him out of my top 20.
I gotta say, I do like CeeDee Lamb for Dallas this week. I mean, I know they're gonna key on Amari Cooper. Okay, they have to. They're gonna put their number one on Cooper. So once again, I think CeeDee Lamb will have a big day. It seems like Andy Dalton he targeted him a lot last week. I think he likes throwing the ball to him. It looks like so. I honestly see if there's going to be a difference maker on that Cowboys offense, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb making the big plays, not Amari Cooper.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's basically, like I said, my prediction. I like the football team coming out on top, 21-17, and Texans over Lions. I'm going to say that one's going to be a little bit more high scoring. I'm liking the Texans to come out 31. I'm going to say 24. So I think they win by a close tutty.
You're taking Houston and you're taking Washington.
Houston and
That's
Washington.
exactly what I'm taking as well. Jesus Christ, did you copy me?
No, I've been looking at your notes all day, dude.
No. Also in the Dallas-Washington, I mean, Dallas is getting 3 points.
Yeah.
So Washington is the favorite team to win this game. But when you look at the numbers, Dallas beats them in the average passing yards per game, averaging rush yards, and average total yards. Dallas beats them in every category. Although I think the defense. That old saying, defense wins championships. Well, I think the defense is going to win this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's move on to some other NFL games going on this Sunday. So, Browns, Jaguars, listen, fantasy news and notes there. I think this Jaguars have announced that they're going to start Mike Lennon at quarterback, so they're going to bench Minshew. They're going to bench the other guy. They're going to play Mike Lennon. That only helps out the Browns even more for their defense.
Yeah.
Looks like Denzel Ward's gonna roll. I'm telling you now, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt owners, congratulations. They're definitely going to give you some production this week.
Is
Be sure to
Garrett
check
back
out
this
my
week?
Myles Garrett. I'll get back to you on that.
Because without him, they still got to the quarterback last week against Philadelphia. So, but even with bringing him back will help too.
So it looks like Garrett's going to be without. He's actually going to miss his second straight game.
Second straight game. Obviously, they're down, but they're going to find ways to get to the passer again.
Yeah, it's Jacksonville.
But it's Jacksonville, so they will.
Yeah. Yeah, so, fantasy people that I like out of this game, I'm not taking. I mean, obviously, you're playing James Robinson. It's been a steal all year for those of you that picked him up off waivers. And then I like the Browns backs, but that's really it. I don't like DJ Chark in this game. I think he's going to see a lot of Denzel Ward. You can't really trust any of the other wide receivers, Keenan Cole, Laviska Shenault, whatever. And then Browns, Jarvis Landry's been a disappointment all year. So
And you better not be playing Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. If you're playing Blake Baker, reach out to me and explain why.
I mean, and I don't want to hear that it's a wicked deep league with 16 teams.
Exactly.
I still wouldn't be playing them.
Jesus Christ, you might as well just put Tim Tebow back there. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the Raiders-Falcons. So I'll let you start, and then I'll tell you who I like.
So Raiders-Falcons. The Raiders, the way they played the Chiefs twice, insanely good. The Raiders look so good at times, and then they look really bad. This is a game they should win against a struggling Atlanta team that just can't put anything together. I like the Raiders in this game, but it's all depending on which one shows up. But I'm gonna have to say if the same Raiders team that shows up that plays against the Chiefs and Derek Carr performs like I know he can, then I like the Raiders in this game.
Yeah, cue the music because I like the Raiders as well. I gotta say, Matt Ryan last week 5.28 points against the damn New Orleans Saints. Thanks for screwing me, you you asshole. Really, really sucked. Just a shit matchup. But long story short, I agree. I think Derek Carr has a great game. I was actually told that some people feel I ranked him a little too low. He's actually my number 15th quarterback on my rankings. I got Tannehill, Jackson, Brady, Roethlisberger ahead of him. Listen, it's possible. He could go out and he could light it up against Atlanta. The reason I ranked him so low, I think it's a Josh Jacobs game. I think Josh Jacobs is going to get you into the end zone against that Atlanta front. They've been blitzing a lot more, but they're very, very beatable. But this is a game where Nelson Aguilar and Hunter Renfrow, they should easily have some points against that Atlanta secondary. So
I mean, even Waller. I think Waller has a thing.
Oh, Waller's going to ball out. Yeah, Waller's my number 3 tight end this week. So I actually projected him to get 13 points, which for tight ends is obviously high, depending on unless you have Travis Kelce. So, and on the other side of the spectrum, listen, you're playing Julio Jones. If he plays, you're going to have to justify why you sit a guy with that magnitude. Calvin Ridley, same thing. Looks like Calvin Ridley, he'll play.
Yeah, because they're going to be playing from behind. They're passing the football. And those two guys are unreal receivers.
Yeah, but if you're starting Matt Ryan, listen, my advice is don't. Matt Ryan is outside my top 20.
From experience.
Yeah, outside my top 20, and I learned my lesson, and hopefully you did too, because...
Didn't I beat you? Is that the league I beat you in?
So yeah, you beat me in one league where I had Matt Ryan. That's in the Yahoo league that you beat me in. Yeah. I had him, and but actually I lost to... I needed a win, and I had Matt Ryan against someone this week, and... He 5.28 points, dude. For no touchdowns, 2 picks.
From a quarterback.
Under 250 yards. For a guy that's going to be on pace for 600 attempts this year, he couldn't even get me 300 yards. So
that's a really bad week for a quarterback.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead to me. So let's move on. So you got what I feel is America's team just based on the last 20 years. You got the Patriots versus the Cardinals. Listen,
Wait a second.
Yeah. Wait. I was not born an asshole. So, yeah, I mean, as far as Cam Newton goes, listen, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I actually have Cam Newton ranked as my number 8 quarterback this week against Arizona. And listen, I just want to let you know, even NFL just said Cam is on the rise. He's jumped to the highest ranking in the weekly QB archery since week 6. I understand he's not throwing a lot, but when he does, he's extremely accurate. He just had over 300 I got it right here. He had over 360 yards against the Texans, and I understand that the Texans are giving up a lot, but Arizona is also giving up the 8th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. So I like Cam Newton this week, and I know that sounds crazy because it's the Patriots, but he's the only Patriots with fantasy relevance at this point. You still keep Damian Harris and Jacoby rostered, but I'm playing Cam this week.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's got the most fantasy relevance. He's definitely trending upwards. I'll give you that. I mean, everything I've seen lately, everything's going. His numbers are going up. He's throwing the ball more accurately. He doesn't. His arm doesn't look dead. I mean, those couple losses where he looked bad, his arm just looked dead. He doesn't look like that anymore. So, I mean, and for you, I hope he's trending upwards.
He was asked this week if he sees himself in New England after this week, and he said that right now all he's focused on is the Cardinals. And this is what I'll say. I don't want Cam Newton back in New England next year, but I'd prefer a real quarterback that can actually throw the ball and we take some shots. But I think that also needs to change with Josh McDaniels. But we got to put weapons. If we do bring back Cam, it's not that I'm opposed to it, but you got to build around him. You got to put some talent on that field with him, kind of like what the Arizona Cardinals are doing on the opposite side of the field. You get Kyler Murray, bright young quarterback. Who do you bring in? You bring in a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Plus you have an aging Larry Fitz, who I just want to call out. He performed against Seattle, which I said he would.
He did.
Kenyon Drake is not a shit back. I mean, the guy's going to still rush for over 1,000. He's just not getting any catches. So, I mean, Arizona this year, they're 6-4. I know they just lost to Seattle. I think I'm agreeing.
Still ranked number 1 with offense.
Yeah, and I agree with you as far as Kyler Murray. I think, when he got hurt, that changed the whole complexity of the game. But I like the Arizona Cardinals coming out to win this game. I don't think the Patriots have enough to beat them. I don't think the defense has got enough to really slow down. Maybe we slow down Hopkins, but if Kyler can throw it deep, Christian Kirk, Isabella, they're going to have games. So who do you like for Arizona in the game?
Arizona, I think Kyler Murray comes back. He has a big game at the quarterback position. Honestly, I think they're going to try to surprise the Patriots, run the ball a little more, with Drake, and try to develop that run game, take the pressure off Kyler. I know they don't want Kyler getting hit again. I know him, so I like Arizona in this game.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close, though. This is going to be a field goal game.
So I'm thinking it's more like a 10-point game.
Yeah?
You think Kyler Murray's big enough to ride the big rides at the Carnival?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
I mean, did you see that photo on Facebook?
I did. But did you know?
There's no way.
Do you think Santa knows he's not at the North Pole right now?
Definitely not.
Yeah, definitely not.
He sneaks out.
Man.
Wow.
Love Kyler Murray, throwing jabs at him all day.
Guy you respect. If Eric likes or Mr. C likes you, that's it right there.
That's it all day. I have Kyler in a few leagues. So, all right, next matchup, you got the Chargers and the Bills. Keenan Allen. Wow.
What a day for Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
He just destroyed my flex position. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, he went off. And it's, that's the guy on the Chargers you got to get the football to. It's looking like they're going to have possibly Austin Eckler back this week. Did they activate him?
So they activated him, but it's undetermined if he'll play. So right now it's still Kalen Ballage.
Okay, so Kalen Ballage, even serviceable, but if Eckler's back, you have Eckler, and then you have Keenan Allen. I mean,
Mike Williams.
Herbert's looking so good.
I know.
He's playing good quarterback.
Rookie of the year, especially now with Burrow out.
Definitely. Definitely.
And the thing is the kid is. I don't care that their record is 3-7. You just know that the kid is the real deal.
Yeah.
You got to think on the defensive side of the ball for them. They're missing their top player, Derwin James, out for the year. That's a team that I'm excited for the future.
Their best pass rusher was out, the first 3 weeks of the season, too?
Bosa?
Ingram?
Well,
not best. I shouldn't say, Ingram, too. Yeah. Ingram and Bosa.
Yeah.
I mean, they have talent on both sides of the football to perform. Once again, I think you just need a little more offensive line work on that team. But every team can say that at this point.
Yeah. I do want to report some breaking news. So, Giovanni Bernard seems to have a concussion. I'm not sure if he developed that in practice, but he actually missed today's practice. So if you're a Geo owner, obviously Mixon being on IR, you might want to look at some alternative options.
Or don't, because I don't think it's going to matter.
It's not going to matter, yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about Buffalo.